Then I'll do the little quick introduction.
Okay.
So hi, everyone. My name is Martha Serrano. I am the coordinator for the Money Management Center here at Fresno State. So thank you, everybody, for logging in to today's webinar. So again, we are recording the session. So it will be available on our website. And we have a YouTube channel. So hopefully by the end of this week, if not early next week, we'll have the recording and other recordings as well. And I'll put it in the chat box or website. But I want to go ahead and hand it over to Noemi Valenzuela from EECU, who has an awesome presentation, very interactive. It's called Wise Up presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you, Noemi. And if people feel free to type in your questions, or if you want to raise your hand, and we'll make sure to let Noemi know about any questions.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. So again, my name is Noemi Valenzuela. I am with EECU. So today we're going to go through some activities. It's very interactive. So we talk about budgeting. We talk about the importance of saving. But this is actually putting it into play. So what we're going to do today, and I'll walk you through it as well, is I'm going to ask you to get a sheet of paper. I know, old school, right? Where we're going to write it down on the lined piece of paper. Typically, we'd get the booklet out if we were in person. But again, this is just to give you some insight. It's like, we're going to give you a budget. You're going to start off that way. And then from there, you're going to start subtracting really of like your basics in life, your essentials. We're not getting fancy, right? This is just your basic bills that you probably have or will have as an adult. So I'll give you a minute just to get a pencil or pen and a piece of paper. And meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and share my screen. So give me just a second here. So today's presentation is called Wise Up. Again, it's just putting into play that whole budgeting, just so you get some insight as to what it is and how it's done. Right. So just getting my windows prepared here. All right. Let's share the screen. And there we go. All right. So again, Wise Up. So some time ago, what we did is we surveyed some students, and just to see where we were at, right, as far as the knowledge about financial wellness, and seeing what we know, what we don't know. And what we found was a lot of people didn't know, right, didn't know your basics of financial wellness, of just budgeting, personal budgeting. So we came up with this program. And again, it's very interactive, kind of giving you some insight. So first things first, I'm going to start off with the difference between credit unions and banks. And I know I had spoken about this in a previous workshop, but again, credit unions and banks, we provide the same thing, pretty much, right? Your basics, your accounts, checking, savings, loans, credit cards. But there's a major difference in the way we work. Credit unions are not for profit. It's not to say that we don't make any money, but that money that we do make is kind of recycled and put back into our membership. So usually, that shows in our fees and our interest rates. Banks, on the other hand, are for profit. So they are owned by investors. And so that's the major difference. Again, there's, the banks of convenience. You see those everywhere. Credit unions are also pretty big, just not seen as often as you would banks. So again, major differences. It's all up to you where you open your account. But the main idea is to keep your money in an account just for your safety, just to make it easier on you. All right, so today's agenda, what are we going to do? So first, you're going to choose a career. And I have a list of those, and I'll share the screen in a bit. Then we're going to talk about taxes, right? We're going to calculate taxes. We're going to go from gross income to net income. And if you don't know the difference yet, I will also explain that. Then we're going to balance a checkbook. So I know a lot of people don't do this as often anymore, balancing checkbooks, because there's apps that do it for you. So it's like, why would I do the work, right? But it's important to know the background to it. And some people, this works, this writing it down works for them. And that's okay. So again, just showing you that background as to what the apps are doing. And if you want to do it this way, go for it, right? The other one is we're going to build a budget for monthly expenses. Again, I mentioned before, these are just your basic bills. We're not getting fancy, right? It's just like your set of maybe 6 to 7 bills that you have as an adult. And then we're going to purchase those life essentials, right? And we'll walk you through those as well. So we've got questions, right? Are you ready to be an adult? Like, are you ready to be financially responsible adult? I'm an adult myself, and sometimes my answer is no. But again, right, just asking ourselves that question. And then the other thing is, you have a career in mind, right? If you're going to school, you're, maybe you're working towards a degree, whatever it may be, but do you know what you really want to do ultimately? Then will your career support your lifestyle? And when I say lifestyle, that's pretty much, how you live. Do you want the fancy cars? Do you want, just your basic to get you from point A to point B? Do you want the huge house, maybe a ranch home, or, are you okay with an apartment, like a 1-bedroom apartment, just your very basic, or something in between? The other thing too is, do you know the difference between needs and wants? And I just realized there's the misspelling there. But again, needs and wants. Yes, we need certain things to survive, your essentials, but do you need the fancy stuff, right? Do you need the name brand? Do you need the bigger house? Probably not, right? When it comes down to it, probably not. Depending on your personal needs. But again, it's just asking ourselves that question. And I'm not saying no, we can never buy or never, splurge on something. It's just knowing how to balance it and make sure we're not going into debt, trying to live a lifestyle that we realistically cannot afford, right? So again, finding that balance and being able to live comfortably. And that's what this is about, right? Being okay with your finances. If you want to get fancy later on, go for it, right? If you have something saved up. So what exactly is a budget? A budget is a plan or method to manage how much money you earn, how much money you save, and how much money you spent. And there's a lot that entails it, right? When we're talking saving, it can be investing, it can be all of this. So again, just managing your finances pretty much. Okay, so here comes the interactive part, right? I had mentioned to you that we're going to choose a career on this list, and there's a list of there's a number of careers. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes just to choose one from here. Again, if there's something that's not, a career that you choose that's not on the list, choose something that's closest to it, just to give you an idea, right? Again, if you have your line paper in front of you, you can write your career option as number 1, and then number 2, write the gross annual income. That's the dollar amount that's sitting right next to that career. And while you're choosing your career, let me just explain that, right? The gross income and net income. So gross income is before taxes. That's, before you even see your paycheck, there's money taken from that pay. Again, that's gross income. After taxes is net income. So there's a group, typically, right? A group of taxes or fees that are taken out of your paycheck before you see it. Once you see it, you see the actual paycheck, that's the net income. They've already taken the taxes out. So what I'll do is I will follow along with the sheet that I got here as well. Just give me a minute while you choose your career. All right. So now that you've chosen your career, we're going to do a little bit of math. Okay. So what I want you to do, and that's another thing, I apologize, I forgot to mention this, but make sure you have, maybe your phone calculator, some type of calculator that you can do some basic math with. So I'm going to share another screen that I have here, just to give you some insight on what this should look like, right? So we figured out our gross annual income. That's how much you would get before taxes for 1 year. That's 58. I'm sorry. That's I'm choosing a certain career, but that would be depending on what you chose. Once I share my screen, if it's going to go here, you can see here what we did. Let's see. Is everybody able to see that? Yes. No.
We are.
You are? Okay. Look like, okay, good. All right. So I chose as a career option, I chose marketing, marketing manager. So you can see the annual income, gross annual income is 58,800, right? You can see that on the screen. Your gross monthly income, that is your annual income divided by 12. Right? And that's the math portion you have to do. So 58, in my case, it'd be 58,800 divided by 12, because there's 12 months in 1 year, right? We're trying to figure out what our gross monthly income is per month. So when all is said and done, when I divided it, my answer was $4,900. Okay, so that's my gross monthly income. So this is before taxes. So let's talk about what we would do, to figure out what would be after taxes. Okay, so let me slide this over if I can. All right. So what is taken out of your paycheck? For the most part, it's taxes, right? And you can see the list here, and we'll go through each one of these. So federal taxes, that's 12% or less of your pay. Federal taxes pretty much pays for military, some government positions, federal positions. Then there's state taxes. That's 7%. In California, we're one of the states that pays the highest taxes, right? There's literally a price to pay here in California. Our state taxes, more or less 7%. And state taxes pay for, public schools. It can pay for like Cal Fire, Caltrans, those who fix the roads, some of the states or the state schools, state colleges, right? So all of this, we're putting into this big pot of money as far as the taxes, and it's used for different things within the state. So again, that's state taxes, 7%. Then there's Social Security, that's 6.2%. It could refer to as maybe a retirement, maybe you're not working, that's your Social Security, 6.2%. Then there's Medicare. Even if we don't get Medicare, we all again put into this pot of money, and that's 1.45% of our pay. Then there's state disability, that's 1%. Let's say that you're working, maybe you're out for a certain amount of weeks. You don't get your regular pay from your work, but the state comes in and says, okay, we're going to help you out just to get by. That's state disability. Then there's retirement investment, right? Taking care of your future self. This will help you in the future, whether it's 401k, pension, some type of retirement plan, right? So we're going to, in this case, we're going to put 5% of our pay into retirement investment because again, we're taking care of our future selves. Eventually we'd like to retire and live comfortably. And then there's medical insurance, flat fee, $180, right? And this can vary depending on the job that you have, but just say for starters, you're buying your own insurance, personal insurance. So again, medical insurance, $180, a flat fee. All right, so now let's figure out, have a shortcut for this, but let's figure out how much it would be, right? So you saw your gross income, you saw your gross monthly income. Let's figure out how much your net pay would be, how much your actual take-home pay, your paycheck would be. So we're going to do that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab our gross monthly income, the one we figured out, right? When we divided by 12. That number that you got, we're going to multiply it by 0.67. It's just a shortcut, right? Just for the sake of time. So again, you're going to grab your gross monthly income and you're going to multiply that by 0.67. The answer you get will be your net monthly income. And I'm going to ask everybody to round up to the dollar, right? It'll just be easier for our math, just to give you an idea. So again, gross monthly income, multiply that by 0.67. That's your net monthly pay. Okay, so let's go back to the booklet, put that back on my screen, and then we'll do the math. There we go, drop it in there. So we're going to grab this number, right? The gross monthly income. And we're going to multiply that by 0.67. So let me bring up my calculator. We'll slide it over. If it'll cooperate. There we go. Okay. So then I'm going to multiply that, right? Because that's my gross monthly income. Multiply that by 0.67. And how much are we left with? 3,283. Right. So that, according to the career that I chose, the marketing manager, that would be my take-home pay. That's what my monthly paycheck is going to look like. And I dropped it here. So 3,283. And just to, put a thumbs up or whatever you can in the chat, how many of you are comfortable or are okay with that net monthly pay that you got after we did the math? Do you think that's going to be enough? You're like, okay, I can survive on this. I think we'll be okay. Oh no, okay. So we had some thumbs down. Okay, that's okay. This is why we're having this conversation, right? We're going to see if it will be enough. All right. All right, so we've done that part. We know our take-home pay. Okay, so this next one, and let me slide over here. This next screen, well, just to see, it's for you to see if you got if you did the math correct. There we go. Let's see. Da-da-da. Did that. So this is just to check your numbers. Okay. I'll give it a minute or so. And you can see these are all the take-home pays for the different careers we have. And granted, I should have said this in the beginning, but remember when we're going through this activity that these careers, this pay is based off of the Central Valley. So once you get out of the Central Valley, right, it's going to be different. Your pay will be different, most likely, and so will your costs. So again, this is only the Central Valley. We're not talking about Southern California, the Bay Area, Northern California. It's just in the Valley, right? So just keep that in mind when we're doing the activity. All right, so now that you checked your numbers, now we're going to talk about how to balance a checkbook. Again, just knowing how to budget, right? Your basic equation, what you earn minus what you spend, right? And I know I said this earlier, a lot of people don't do it this way anymore, just balancing a checkbook. But again, what are you comfortable with, right? But this is the background to it. If you're going to go with an app that's going to do it for you, just know the background to it, know how it's done. All right, so this is a check register, and you can see the different columns, right? We won't touch on the first one where it says number or code. We're just going to skip over to the second column where it says date. So this is pretty much the date that you maybe paid a bill, or that you spent money, or you had money coming in, you got a paycheck, or deposited money into your account. The second one is a transaction description. So this is pretty much you tagging what happened in your account. If it was if you paid one of the bills, maybe it was your cell phone, you could tag a cell phone, whatever you're comfortable with. This is for your notes. Then there's the payment fee withdrawal column, and you can see that's red, right? So anytime we pay a bill or we spend money, we're going to put in this column. And why? Because we're minusing it from our account. We're subtracting it from our account. And then the next column is the deposit column. So anytime money comes into our account, we're going to add it, which is why it's green, right? So this is money coming in, adding it. And when we're doing our budgeting, personal finances, always know the balance. Always know how much you have to work with in your account, because this will be important, right? This really determines how much money you can spend, how much money you actually have in your account. So again, just little tidbits here. So again, the minus column, the plus column, the equals column. So payment fee withdrawal, deposit, and balance. So these are the three columns that we're going to be working with. All right. So this is an example. You don't have to write anything down yet, right? But as we start getting into the activity, you will write down your costs and your essentials. But this is just an example to give you. So again, we're going with that column with the date, right? So starting March 1st, we had some activity in our account. What happened there? Right? We got paid. Payday is a good day, right? Anytime you get money, pay yourself first, and we'll go into that in just a second. So again, because it was a paycheck, because it's money coming in, we put it in the green column. So our paycheck, our net pay was $3,272. Again, this is just an example. We'll start doing the activity together in just a minute. So because nothing else has happened in our account, that's going to be our balance as well, right? Nothing else has happened in the account. Just the paycheck came in. So that's our paycheck, deposit, and that's also going to be our balance. So we have $3,272 in our account, right? So what happens later on that day? So again, March 1st, later on, remember, we have to save, right? We have to put some money away and pay yourself first. Anytime you get money, put something away, whatever you can afford, right? And there's no set amount, but it's just something that that you can, one, that you can afford, and two, that you'll be able to leave in there. You don't have to take it out later on in the month. Okay? So in this case, just as an example, we're going to save $100. So this is in the payment fee withdrawal column. It goes in the red column. Why? Because I know I mentioned we're paying ourselves first, right? But the idea is we're taking it out of one account, which is our checking account, and we're dropping it into our savings account. So we took it out of this one, put it into this one. So we're minusing it from the checking account. So that's why we minus it. So you can see your balance was $3,272. That's what 3,272. So now we're going to minus $100 from it, right? Because we put it in savings. And how much does that leave us with? $3,172. Right, so your basic equation, we're just minusing. The next one, later on that day, what happened there? All right, so later on that day, we had to make our house payment, right? So again, the house payment will go in the payment fee withdrawal column because it's a bill we're paying. That's going to be $900. So now we're going to minus it from our balance, right? Because we're subtracting it from our account. So 3,172 minus 900, that now leaves us with $2,272. And granted, that house payment is pretty cheap. I know, right? It'd be nice. Again, later on that day, what happened? Now we have to pay utilities, right? Again, hand in hand, you have a house payment, you have a rent, you have house, whatever it may be. The utilities goes hand in hand with that. That's another bill. So utilities, which is PG&E, it can be water, electricity, in some places, the sewage, garbage, right? All of this. So how much is our bill? Our bill will be $260. So again, it was in the payment fee withdrawal column. So we're going to minus it from our balance. And how much are we left with now? 2012. So you can see how quickly money goes. All right, later on that day, we got a graduation gift, right? This is good, right? This is money coming in. Someone, maybe grandma came by and she said, hey, happy graduation. Here's $250. My grandma says, "Estás loca, you're not getting that." But hey, this is just an example, right? So graduation gift, because it's money coming in, it was given to us, we're going to deposit it. We're going to put it into our account. So again, we put it in the green column, right? Because it's money coming in. So because it's money coming in, because we're depositing it, it's going to be adding now. So we're going to add it to our balance. So originally we had 2012 in our account. Now that we're putting the 250 in there, this is how much we're left with, 2,262. So this is, it's pretty repetitive, as you can see, right? Plus, minus, plus, minus. Most of them will be minus when you're paying your bills. But again, this is what it's about, right? This is the background to a check register. So now what I want you to do is on your paper, I want you to write maybe today's date, right? Or you can go with March 1st, whatever you're comfortable with. You're going to write paycheck, and right across from it, you're going to deposit your paycheck, your net pay. So I'll go back to the screen where the booklet is, and we'll start doing that. So I can give you an example. All right. Let's see. We can save it. It's not working for me here. There we go. Okay. So because my paycheck was 3,283, my net pay, I put it in the deposit column, and the same thing goes for the balance, right? 3,283. All right, so we're good there. So now your savings, right? How much are we going to save? And I'll leave the booklet up here. I want everybody, just an example, I want everybody to start off with saving $50. Okay, so because we're taking out of our account, putting it into our savings, we're going to put it in the payment fee withdrawal column. So we're going to do $50. So then what's then we're going to minus it, right? 3,283 minus 50. Also work with me. There we go. Minus 250. No, it was only 50. I'm sorry. 3283 minus 50. That's how much we're left with now. That's my new balance, 3,233. Okay. All right, so you can see on this list, these are the next bills that we have. Okay, so we'll go through each of these. All right, so let's go back to the slide deck. All right. So we put the $50 into the savings. Right. And again, it's whatever you can afford. Okay, so now we start paying bills, right? So again, these are typical bills. Student loan, and I have to touch on this, student loan is not necessarily a bill that you will have. Hopefully you were able to apply for FAFSA, get some grants, get some student aid, but again, sometimes we do have to get student loans, okay? And this is just an idea to give you how much it would be per month. Will it be different? It may be, right? Depending on the career, depending on your situation. But if you chose a career that requires associates, that's 180. A bachelor's degree, that's going to be 310 per month. If you chose a career that has a master's, that requires a master's degree, that's 550. And off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of different careers that take a master's, that need a master's. So the first thing I can think of is social worker. That would be a master's, 550. And if you're going for, you know, maybe a PhD, a JD, maybe a lawyer, that would be $700. Medical doctor, veterinarian, or dentist, that would be $1,450. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do our math, right? So again, I'll leave this up just for a couple more seconds and I'll go back to the booklet. So again, this is just an idea of how much a student loan would be, depending on your situation. In my case, I chose marketing manager. So that typically would have maybe a bachelor's degree. So in my case, my student loan would be $310. Right? So I'm going to go back to the check register now. So I'm going to put that fee in there, the $310 on my student loan. All right, so $310. And then again, we're going to minus that 310 from our balance. So what does that leave us with, right? So my balance is 3,233. I'm going to minus the 310 from it. And that's what we're left with, 2,923. Okay. All right. So our next bill. Now we have housing and insurance. And I promise you, I'm not that excited in real life to pay my bills. Again, this is just to give you an idea of what is done, right? How to do it. So the next one, housing and insurance, right? So these are the choices. And we talked about this earlier, the needs and the wants, right? What type of lifestyle do you want to live? So this is you choosing a home. The top ones, the orange ones, that's you purchasing a home, like actually buying one, getting a loan for one. And then the bottom one would be renting an apartment or maybe a townhouse, whatever it may be. Okay. So the orange are purchasing, the bottom two, the white circles, that's renting. And again, when you make the choice, this is all up to you, right? You're making your choices. You're going to purchase one of these for now, virtually. What's going to be, which one are you going to choose? And again, when you're making these choices, we're going to think it's just you, right? You're not thinking of anyone else, just yourself. So again, all about the choices. And you can see this price includes the top ones include like if you were to make a monthly payment, like you're paying your mortgage. It also includes insurance. Okay. And again, these are only prices in the Central Valley. You step out of the Central Valley, it's totally different. Right? It's going to be a lot more expensive. And these are numbers. These numbers are all our dollar amounts and costs are updated every year. This was updated. The latest was in this summer. And you can see, right, there's some that, yeah, they've gone up within the last few months. That's crazy. But it's more or less an idea. Okay, so now that you've made your choice, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it in the booklet, right? Again, you're going to put it on your sheet of paper. So I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go with the apartment, right? I'll choose the 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. So that's 1,200. So here we go. Go back to our booklet. So I'm going to do 1,200 here. Okay, that was my cost. I put it in the red column because we're paying a bill, right? Payment fee withdrawal. All right, so now let's do the math. So now that was my balance, 2,923. I'm going to minus 1,200. And what are we left with? 1,723. So that's how much I have to work with now. And you can see I still have more bills to pay. So I got to be careful. Okay. So remember what house you chose, and I'll go back to the screen. Remember what house or apartment you chose, okay? Because that's going to determine your utilities bill. Okay, so if I chose the 2-bedroom, 1-bath, that'll be my cost on the next one. Okay. All right, so everybody's got their apartment, their house. Now we're going to utilities. All right, so I had the 2-bedroom, 1-bath. That's $256. The 2-bedroom, 2-bath is $303. The 3-bedroom, 2-bath, the bigger house, is $378. 1-bedroom, 1-bath is $240. And then the 2-bedroom, 2-bath, again, these are the rentals, that's $340. So again, utilities is electricity, water, gas, gas, light, some places sewage, garbage. So all of this is included, right? So I'm going to add this cost to my check register. I'll give you just a minute just so you can choose, see which one. All right, so I'll go back to the booklet. My cost is $256. I need to remember that one. So here we go with the booklet. So my utilities bill is going to be $256. I put that in the payment fee withdrawal column because I'm going to minus it. So how much is that? So we're going to minus 256. And that's how much I'm left with. 1,467. All right, real life, right? Money goes very, very quickly. We're just paying our basics. Okay, so the next one you can see on the list is transportation. All right, so let's go to that one. What are your choices? All right. And we know that car, especially after the pandemic, car prices have gone up, or just automobiles have gone up a lot. But these are the choices. So we have public transportation, and this is assuming that you're no longer a student, because I know that if you are a student, you get a free bus pass, I believe. So your bus pass, public transportation would be $65 per month, right? That's for you to ride the bus. Then you have the second choice, the 2022 Chevy Bolt, right? That's going to be $675 per month. And this includes, this is assuming that you got a loan for the car, right? To pay for the car. So that's your monthly payment back to the credit union or the bank. Then you have your fuel, like your gas. How much is that per month? And then that also includes your insurance. Okay. So that's $675 per month. And even if it's not fuel, like if it's an electric car, that's still considering how much it would cost to charge it, right? To charge the actual car. Then there's a 2020 Honda Accord. That would be $886 per month. Again, everything included. And then you've got the most expensive one, the 2021 Silverado. That's $1,305 per month. So you can see the bigger the car, right? The more the gas it's going to take, or even if it's electric, it's still going to take that, or you still have to pay for that. So again, all about the choices. Would I love a truck? I would love a truck. I mean, can I afford that right now? I don't know. With gas prices going up and down, I don't think I want that. Right? So again, all about the choices. I'm going to go with the simplest one. I'm going to go with the 2022 Chevy Bolt. That's going to be my choice, $675. Right? Again, when you're starting off your budget, or just, you know, a rule in general, start simple. And, you know, if you have money left over later on, or you have enough saved up, you can purchase something a little bigger. All right, so let's go back to the booklet. I'm going to add my transportation, or subtract it, I should say. So because I have my transportation here, it's going to be $675. So again, we're going to minus it. Where's my calculator? So because my balance was 1,467, we're going to minus the car. So minus 675 equals 792. That's how much I'm left with. It's dwindling. I think it was Ricardo, right, that put thumbs down because he didn't know if he was going to have enough. So I'm kind of feeling it now. I'm running out of money. I'm having the same sentiment here. Okay, so the next one would be food, right? We got to eat. Again, these are just our essentials, just our basics. So let's go back to the slide deck. We got the transportation, and if I need to go back, put it in the chat, and I will go back. All right, so now we need to eat our food, our very, very basics, right? These are your choices. If you're mostly eating at home, that's going to be the cheapest route. That's going to be $330 per month. Half at home, half eating out, that'll be $540 per month. And then if you're just always eating out, that's going to be $660 per month. And the price of food after the pandemic has also gone up a lot, right? We've noticed a difference. There's certain foods or certain things that you buy from the grocery store that have gotten really expensive. So things to consider. And I like to bring this up. So if you see mostly eating at home, right, that's $330 per month. But if you start to break it down, like per day and then per meal, it's really not a lot. I think it comes out to like $1 something per meal. So again, all about the choices. I always tell students, like, if you don't know how to cook, now's the time, right? When you see it like this, you realize how much money you can save yourself. My husband and I are always talking about, you know, vamos a los tacos. Like, yeah, it's okay if it's just the two of us or if it's just one of us, but when you include a whole family, that's going to be expensive. Like, let's just make those at home. I think it'll be cheaper. Okay, so my choice here would be the cheapest. I'm going to go with the 330. Again, I say if you can keep it simple, why not? I'm okay with cooking. So again, 330, I'm going to put it in my food column or in the, it'll be how much my food is, but I'll put it in the payment fee withdrawal column. So then I'm going to minus it. So now my balance was 792. So let's minus the 330. And how much does that leave me with? $462. Cutting it close. That's okay. All right. So you can see the next one on the list is clothing and self-care. So let's go back to the deck. And this right here, the clothing and self-care really depends on your career. Most of the careers on there on that list that we originally saw, that would be most of those fit into business casual, but there's some exceptions. Okay, so these are the prices and the choices. So the professional business, like if your career requires you wearing a suit all the time or just dressing really, really nice, that's $225 per month. Business casual, that's most of them, right? If you can dress like this for your career, that's $150 per month. That's a little hard to see. And then if you chose a career that requires a uniform, a trade, or just maybe scrubs, whatever it may be, that's going to be $75 per month. So I'll go with my my current career. We're okay with business casual, right? So I'll go with that. I'll go with the 150. So again, this can change, right? If you like to go fancy and like to get the name brands and stuff, it's going to be a little more. So we're just talking your basic here. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the booklet and I'm going to minus the 150. Okay. So that was my choice, the 150, according to my career. So now what are we left with, right? So if my balance is 462, I'm minusing 150, and that leaves me with 312. All right. Our next bill is media. Our choices, let's see, let's go back to the slide deck. So media, pretty much, it's a cell phone, Wi-Fi, different choices. So let's go with the first one. Let's see, it's $220 per month. That's a cell phone, that's cable TV, and that's Wi-Fi. Okay, 220. The second choice is cell phone, cable TV. That's 180. And then the cheapest, cell phone and Wi-Fi. That'll be 150 per month. And granted, I know a lot of areas in the Valley, depending on the situation, some areas have free Wi-Fi, but we're just going to go with this one, right? We're going to assume that you have to pay for it. So it's $150 is what I'm going to go with. Again, you can, I say go with the cheapest route, right? Because you can always stream on your phone. So that'll be a little easier. All right, so let's go back to the booklet. And same thing, you can write it down as well. So my media is 150. So I'll do that, 50. So now that we do the calculations, my balance was 312. I'm going to minus 150. That leaves me with $162. Oh, cutting it close. All right. Okay, we have one more bill. Okay. Nobody freak out. We're okay. Just a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you're in the negative, put a thumbs down. If you're okay, you still got money in the account, that you're working with, put a thumbs up in the chat. Go back to the slide deck. Okay, so we're okay. Got some thumbs up. We're good. Okay, we got money. We're still good. And if you've gone into the negative, it's okay. We'll go through that as well. Okay. All right, here we go. Next bill, entertainment. So this really depends on you, right? Are you that person that likes to be out and about, just social butterfly, right? That's going to cost you. That's literally going to cost you. That's going to be $250. The next one, medium entertainment, that's $175. And then you've got low entertainment, that's $100. Okay. So again, just depends on you, right? Here, there's examples of the most expensive would be concerts, gaming, pets, high level entertainment. The medium 175 would be like movies, maybe going to gym, a pet. And then the last one would be, if you're okay with staying at home or just streaming, watching Netflix, whatever it may be, just going outdoors, just something a little cheaper. I'm going to go with the cheaper route. I'm going to go with the $100. Okay, I'm okay with streaming at home, just taking walks. Those are free. I don't mind. Let's see. Let me go back to the check register. So because I chose the cheapest one, I'm going to go with $100. Okay, so what's the math? If you minus $100 from my balance, you're left with $62. Okay, so we're really cutting it close. Okay, so let's go back to the slide deck. We're starting to run out of time, so I'll try to hurry here. So the next one, I'm going to ask you to put this in the chat. Pick a color, right? So you're depending on the color that you choose, these are things that happen in life, right? Expect the unexpected, because will they happen? Yes. Will life throw stuff at you? Yes, all the time. Will money take care of all those problems? No, right? But it's going to be one less thing to worry about. And onto the screen, you can see blue, pink, orange, green, purple, and yellow. So just choose your color, put it in the chat. And depending on the color that you choose, you're either going to lose money or we're going to add money to your account. And I won't do this one because I'm an advantage, right? I'm at an advantage. I can see what's coming up. So I won't do this one. But again, you can write it down. All right. So once you've chosen your color, that's what we're going to do. There you go, a little drum roll, a little audio there. Huh? All right. So depending on the color you chose, if you chose blue, you got a car repair. Unless you got a bus pass, then things change, right? You got a car repair, so that's negative $200. So you're going to take $200 from your account because that's going to cost you. If you got pink, you got a graduation gift, $100, right? Yay! You're going to add that to your account. If you got orange, you got scammed, right? That's negative $50. You're going to minus 50. The other one, the green one, that's tax refund. You're going to add $200 to your account, which is good. Yay. And then dental repair, if you chose purple, that's going to cost you $100. So even if you had insurance, it still cost you a little bit. Okay. And that happens sometimes. That's okay. Then if you chose yellow, that's a bonus at work. You're going to add $50 to your account. Okay. We had Alma. You went with pink. That was good. You were able to add $100. Yay. Okay. So again, depending on what you have, you either put it in, you're going to minus it or you're going to add it to your account. All right. And these are things that just happen. This is why it's important to save, right? Have some type of backup, like have a little cushion. And I've mentioned this before in other workshops, but a financial advisor will tell you should have enough saved up to cover your bills anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Some will even say up to a year, right? That's a lot of money, especially when you're starting off. So is it expected? No, right? We all have our personal finances. It's going to be your decision. But ultimately, if we can have that be the goal, have anywhere of 3 to 6 months saved up to pay our bills, I think that's healthy. Again, because stuff happens, like stuff like this happens all the time. Unfortunately, car repairs, they're super expensive. That can cost you. But again, it's just keeping these things in mind and really, kind of thinking of the future a little. I know we're trying to survive, right? But the idea is, especially if you're starting off, but the idea is that eventually, yes, we will have something saved up, and kind of getting into that mentality, that money mindset, I think it really helps. It's like, what the goal is, and you can even do it now. All right, so this next one is a little different, right? This one does not go written in your check register because the minute we put it in our check register, we're all broke, like automatically. But this is childcare. So just to give you an idea of how much it would cost to have kids. And it does, it gets pricey. This is stuff we need to think about because it affects the budget. And we care for our children, and we come up with the money somehow, and there's different forms of help. But again, just to think about this, just put it down on paper, it kind of changes mentality too. It's like, okay, well, maybe we need to save a little more, or just whatever the case may be. All right, so here we're going to have number of children and the total cost. But again, we're going to choose a color. Okay, this is again just for fun, just to give you an idea of how much it would be. Depending on the color you choose, you can have anywhere from 1 to 6 kids. And the main question I get is, why is 0 not an option? 0 is not an option, one, because it's a fun activity, right? But the second thing is that it could be that maybe you don't want kids, right? And that's fine. But what happens when your partner comes into the mix and they bring 2 kids with them, right? Maybe from a previous relationship. So again, you're an automatic family. Or what if you have maybe 1 child and they bring in 2 children? That's 3 kids automatically. You're an automatic family. So just, just for fun, just to give you an idea of how much it would be. So everybody choose your color. You can put it in the chat. Again, depending on the color you choose, anywhere from 1 to 6 kids. I know it's a lot. Okay. So here we go. All right. Valentina, you went with pink. Okay. Here we go. Ready? Little drum roll audio. Ta-da. Okay. So, Valentina, I'm going to pick on you, right? You chose pink. That's 2 children. Not too bad, right? Orange is 3 children. Green is 4. Purple is 5. Yellow is 6 children. And then you have the blue, which is 1 child, right? So how much is this? How much does this cost you in general, right? Just to give you an idea. All right, here we go. If you had 1 child, you can see, right, the list. 1 child, 1,100, 2, 1,830, and this is per month. 3 children, 2,390, 4, 3,115, 5, 3,930, and 6, 4,825. That's a lot, right? But again, month to month, what does this include? This includes daycare, food, clothing, diapers, health insurance, entertainment, formula, right? So it's not only when kids are small, it's also as they grow up, because the expenses will fluctuate, right? But they're still there. So just things to think about. Again, if you were to have kids, this is probably about how much it would be. Okay? Again, if we were to put that on a check register, we'd all be broke automatically. But again, just to give you an idea of how much it would be. All right, so we've come to the end of the activity, but we talked about the different things, right, that we can do, like just managing a budget. But a couple of things. So let me go with that. So if you went into the negative, like in real life, when we're running out of money, it's like maybe we can take a step back and say, okay, where could I have saved some money? Okay. And it could be that maybe you have an extra expense. You're like, okay, maybe you're paying for Netflix. Maybe I don't need that after all, right? Is it a need? Is it a want? Yes, it's nice to have, but maybe I can't afford it right now. And start to make some cuts or start to make some adjustments wherever you can. The other thing too is look for a side hustle. And you can see some money saving tips on the screen, but maybe you're good at something, right? And maybe you can make extra money off of that, what you know how to do. Create a service, if you're good at math, maybe you can tutor students and get that extra money. If you're good at writing, maybe you can help edit. Maybe you can, do that virtually, like in some type of virtual assistant where they do these, like look through essays, and there's stuff that's like that available. And it's feasible with the schedule. But again, it's just kind of looking outside our box and seeing what else we can do. Another thing that people talk about is passive income, right? So let's say that maybe you have an apartment. I mean, maybe you have a house that has an extra bedroom. Maybe you rent that out. I don't know, maybe turn it into an Airbnb, right? And that's passive income. You're not necessarily working every day on it, but it's making money in the background. The other thing too is usually these expenses that we talked about today, the essentials, just your basics, you'll usually share that with someone else. Whether it's a partner, it could be roommates, right? That's going to save you a lot of money just being having those roommates, because you split a lot of the costs that we have. So again, learn how to cook. Money saving tips. That's going to help you cook your own meals. Pack a lunch. When you're off on campus or whatever it may be, pack a lunch. Take something with you, so that way you're not having to buy or make that extra cost of buying something on campus or going out to eat. Walk when you can, right? It's going to save your gas. Ride your bike when you can as well. When you're shopping, look for sales or clearance items. That's going to save you money. Why not, right? Coupons, coupon codes, those will help you save money as well. Another thing is avoid spending too much on entertainment, right? We all want to be social. We all want to be with our friends and just groups of friends, or even with our families. I'm Mexican, right? So our families are huge. So there's always a birthday going on. I mean, quinceañera's wedding, there's always something going on. But sometimes just having to do that, because I have to buy the gift. If I'm going to the party, I have to, dress a certain way. Maybe I have to buy an outfit, whatever it may be. Sometimes I just got to take a step back and say, you know what, I can't do that this time. So again, avoid spending too much on entertainment. Budget your money. Know how much is coming in and going out. And that way, when you have a visual of it, it really puts it into place and say, okay, well, maybe I need to just make some adjustments and stop spending so much money, and that'll help me. Or who knows, maybe you're barely making enough. Is it feasible? Yeah, you still have to manage your money. It's not, it's all about knowing how to manage what we already have. Make a shopping list. Never go to the store hungry, especially your grocery shopping, because that will affect your budget. You're going to put a lot more in that cart than what you actually need to. The other thing is, if you're shopping around for certain things, price things online before actually going to the store. That'll help you get an idea of how much it's going to be, and maybe even find a place where it's going to be a lot cheaper. Use the library, and not only the school library, but even the county library has a lot of things. Both of these have a lot of things that you can use, and there's no charge for it, right? Equipment, books, services. Really seek those out, because that in the long run will help you. The other thing is resell. Whether it's shoes, collectibles, maybe you have something that you can sell online, or resell, right? I have a cousin who just did this, and he's like a shoe fanatic. He's a sneakerhead. But it came down to a point where he had lost his job, and he was trying to figure out where to make more money. And what did he do? He started reselling his shoes. I mean, that in itself, he made a ton of money. Why not, right? So again, these are just ideas, and I know that you probably have some as well, but start sharing those, like have these conversations, because in the long run, it'll help you save money. And when you save money, that's a good thing, right? Because I mean, that's more in your pocket and more into your savings account. All right, so that's the end of the presentation. Does anybody have any questions? I'll stop sharing. There we go.
Okay, that's, I think that's a question for me for attendance.
Okay.
So yes, so everybody, I just first of all put our website on the chat box so you guys could visit for upcoming events. We'll have our webinar recordings. This one will be eventually on our YouTube channel. And then we have some other resources available for everybody. But for attendance, yes, I am taking attendance, and everybody who logged in will be able to get a credit for today's webinar.
Awesome.
And there's no survey on our end. Don't need to worry about that.
Okay. Oh, I just saw the question.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I really hope this helped. And if any questions come up later on, I think you can reach out to Marta as well.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me for your time, and everybody for joining us today. Stay tuned for upcoming events for the Money Management Center.
Awesome. All right.
Bye.
Have a good day.